All right, hey guys, welcome to our booth. Happy to be here and happy to see everyone here. Today we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about Smart Factory. And Smart Factory was developed by LS, and that is to create an interconnected system that is both vertical and horizontal. We want to communicate that information, the stored data from the molding machine to both from machine to machine, and then also from the plant floor to the factory. The first phase of CSI will be the monitoring module. So this example here shows the three machines we have in our booth, and green is good, right? So right now these machines are running in cycle. We're producing product, so we're going to capture some trending data here. And to capture the data, we'll just go up here to the data lookup, and then we'll pick a machine. In this case here, we'll do the big one here, the 550. Pick the mold that we're running. We pull up all the critical data. And there's some things for the processors here that are very critical to the process, and one of them is near and dear to my heart is melt cushion. Just to see that we're maintaining a melt cushion and we're not seeing deviation in melt cushion. I look at the first 10. I can definitely come down here, pick between 10 to 100, and now I can look at my next 100 shots. There I can set my upper and lower control limits through SPI and have my deviation. So I can become more predictive, right? So if I'm starting to lose melt cushion, I can say, hey, after 10 cycles of inaccurate melt cushion, alarm out and let me know. I can do two different things here. I can either give me an alarm that I'm not making my melt cushion, or it will stop the machine, so I'm going to stop producing a lot of scrap. When we go into the AI aspect of it, one of the best things about AI is that it is predictive. And one of the best selling points about AI is that it can do trending data, and it can also sit here and tell me where my deviation is. For the processors here, you know this, right? You got 20 machines in the factory, you got one processor on each shift, and he's running around with all 20 machines. With AI, it will give you the smart weight control. So it will add shot or take shot away in order to maintain a good part. So with the AI coupled with the monitoring data with our upper and lower control limits, we can have a process that's stable and a process that's repeatable. As we see here, we come through here and look at AI, and some of our customers that have developed the smart weight control and they have a practice in doing that, we remain shot repeatability. One of the best things about shot repeatability is once we get into a port where we're not holding cushion, we're not holding pressure, then that could be an indicator that we either have a tooling problem or we have a non-return valve problem. But we can predictively say, Sunday at noon, we got to shut the machine down and change out the non-return valve. So we predictively look at preventative maintenance to keep downtime to a minimum. Because remember, downtime's a 4-letter word. Nobody likes downtime. When we tie the machines together, and here we can just say that one of the greatest traits of 4.0 is that we can tie the machines together so I can have one operator and one process technician that can circle around and come back to a common database to pull that data. So instead of him or her floating around from machine to machine to figure out where the problems are, we can do that from a simple desktop. Production gains, and I think that one of the biggest things here is a scrap part has so much negative to it, right? Because you've done the energy to produce the part, the raw material to manufacture the part, the labor to pick the part, and now it's scrap. What do you do with it? You got to regrind it and send it back through. So if we can predictively identify the potential hazard up front, then that's going to allow me as a processor to manufacture good parts. And we have to have that traceability. We have to have that module in place that can look at the last shot, what the corrective action should be to correct the next shot, and proactively dial through the setup. Quality control. One of the biggest things is that we here at LS is automotive and medical. And we can all relate to a lot of things here, but one product recall is critical. So we need to catch that one product recall before it makes it out of the door. So if we can proactively sit here and gauge the parts being manufactured along with the end result. Now there's safeguards in place that we tie into the molding machine, all the peripheral equipment, hot runners, thermalators, dryers, that once we see deviation in that, of course, it would alarm out and identify that we have a potential problem. That will make our shot repeatability there. It will bring a quality part in. So set up in a way that it should be set up in an AI environment or things of the internet. Everything's tied in together. So in theory, the operator will never see a bad part. That bad part will be picked by the robot, taken to a secondary drop zone, and the operator will never see it. The other positive thing about that is labor efficiency. If I'm making good parts and the machine is validating I'm making good parts, I don't have to have a material handler to haul off the scrap. I don't have to grind the scrap. I don't have to reprocess the scrap. I have first pass acceptance. I mold it, I pack it, I ship it. So I'm not constantly reprocessing the part. If we have the ability to look at AI and we have the ability to look at Smart Factory and we can tie in mold heating, we can tie in the thermalators, we can tie in the dryers, we can tie in the loading system, the water treatment, that is married to the data collection, that is married to the process. And now we have that circular logic that comes into play that everything is tied together. There is no magic, so to speak. It says that we have a repeatable process and we have a process that is traceable. So that's the monitoring phase and the control phase. And now near and dear to my heart is the service side of the business. And we can do a couple different things. We have full-time hotliners that will answer your call and will troubleshoot problems over the phone. But now that we move in to the remote service, you have the ability to log on remotely and send me a message via the internet that I got a machine problem. With your permission, I can log on to the machine and troubleshoot accordingly. We can share that information back and forth. Also, too, there's a document trail. So when our service technicians are out on site and they come in and they repair your machine or do some remedial work, that service report is archived. So you can come back into the database associated with your serial number and pull that data out. The service report, as far as suggested spare parts, corrective action, that's always in the cloud. It's never going to go away. So we don't have to worry about hard copies. But also, too, because you have file access. So file access, I can pull service reports, I can pull machine manuals, I can pull calibration procedures. Anything that's relevant to that machine type is accessible through the internet, through LS. We can have online communication back and forth. You can send me a quick note. I can send you a quick note. It is all geared to streamline the process. And I'm sure we all can relate to making a phone call, getting put on hold. By having that back and forth through the internet has been beneficial to us. A little bit of background here. Why does it matter for everything I said? I was a slide ahead. Sorry about that. But as long as I know what you expect from me and you know what to expect from me, we can go back and forth and have a successful interaction between the customer and the OEM. The next one, which is actually kind of cool for us, and we just launched it this year, first quarter of this year, is a parts finder. I call things different than maybe you call things. And I can say it's a limit switch and it's, whatever, and you call it a proc switch. We have a little bit of a disconnect as far as terminology and nomenclature. So our self-service parts finder is helpful because of speed. It's a real-time search. You develop how long you want to search. It can be used as an assembly drawing, which you'll see in a minute, and it reduces part number errors. And I think that's always key that, anybody has a 7 or 9 digit part number, it's easy to put a 1 to a 2 and a 3 to a 4. And before you know it, you wait 2 days for a part or next day for a part, and it turns out to be wrong. So as we pull the 3D drawings up for this machine, as you know, we have the part category, customer name, series or serial. Those are all searchable inputs to us. So we can look at serial number is always the best way to identify that. Now we pull down on different aspects here. We got clamping, injection, covers, electricity, and different milestones or different sections of the machine. I pull up a 3D drawing. I can spin this around. I can turn it upside down. I can move it around, identify the part. Here's the BOM for this assembly. I can click on this. I can say I want 1 of those and 3 of these and 4 of those and click quotation, and then that will go to our parts group. Our parts group will generate a spare parts quotation for you. It's kind of cool, right? Because I'm not waiting for a phone call back. I'm not waiting for me to research the part. I'm not waiting because I called it a limit switch and it's actually a proc switch. We identify it right here. And we're talking machine numbers, and I'd rather talk machine numbers than descriptions, because in the parts world, it's about getting the part out as quickly as possible. As this pops up, on this example here, I identified like 4 or 5 parts here that we want to have quoted. This will tell us what we have in stock, and and you'll see some of them have zeros, but that's kind of cool because we're a product of our environment, right? So we stock parts based on usage, like everybody else, right? You're not going to have 100 parts that you don't move. So as we have 3 turns a year, so if we sell that product in a 1-year period 3 times, then we stock it as a spare part. So those numbers will go up to parts on hand. We can ship same day, and that's another story. But the point being is that you've identified the part number. It gave us the description, told you what we had on hand and the specification. And that would tell our parts coordinator and you as the customer, we're talking about the same thing. I'm not talking about a pump and you're talking about something else. We're on the same sheet of music, and we send that as a formal quotation back to you. It can be used as an assembly drawing, which is actually pretty neat as well, because not only can I spin this around, I can also see how certain devices are assembled. So it's an all-in-one category. We have a physical description of the item, we have an assembly drawing, and then we can manipulate that assembly drawing to look at how it is manufactured and how it's put together. So it eliminates the guesswork. When we look at something, we say, yep, that's how it goes back together. But for the ones that still want to call the 800 number, no worries. We have a full-time staff that will do the 800 number. And just a little snapshot of this machine here, we'll see that there's some key data here. As far as the injection unit size, maximum injection pressure, clamping force, opening stroke, serial number is always key to, and the date that it was commissioned. Because that's relevant because we do make a lot of machines, and we make a lot of machines that are very versatile, but we also make a lot of specialty machines. So for us to pull the assembly drawings and for us to pull the parts list and the BOM, that will give us in the right direction. So this is part of the information that Jose, who's one of our chief hotliners, we have to have a little of information coming back. Of course, the serial number of the machines and the problem that you're having. Troubleshooting, what have you done? That's always key, right? Because I'm only as good as the information I hear on the phone. So if you already told me I checked, we have 24 volts, and we checked that we have no alarms, and we checked we have none of these things, we can just jump to step 7. We don't have to start at step 1. And then probably the good thing is what, and if it's a part, what part are we looking for? And then a good callback number and email. And it's a very basic manual that we've done for years and years if, in fact, you don't want to do the automated smart service. Key numbers here, just to look at. Everything's 800 number. We have a dial tone 1 through 5 that identifies parts, service, sales, and of course our admin and accounting. Kind of blew through this, but yeah, that's all I got. If you guys want to talk about it a little bit more in detail, you can email me or give me a call on my cell phone, and we can have a continued conversation. But thank you for your attendance, and enjoy the show.